Hi there. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. My name is Paget Vaughn. I'm one of the program managers for Heart Math Tutoring, and I'm here with Shelby Baldwin, a tutor, and she was also an on-site coordinator. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm just going to ask her a few questions today about her experience as a Heart tutor. But as always, there's great information on our website, hearttutoring.org. There's also frequently asked questions. We'll probably hit a few of those today. But there's lots of ways to get in touch with us, including volunteer@hearttutoring.org is an email address that you can send general questions to as well. So just to start, Shelby, tell us about how you heard about Heart.
I actually heard about it from my sister, who's friends with Paget, but I was living in Memphis, Tennessee, and was moving here and looking to get involved with students and education. And my sister had been doing it for 2 or 3 years at Billingsville and Cotswold. And had a really great experience. And she has no education background and was successful. So I used to be a teacher. So it was a great way to just kind of be being plugged into education.
Yeah, I should have given a little bit more of my background, but similarly to Shelby, I taught in the school system for 2 years. I grew up in CMS and then taught here for 2 years, and then wanted to find a way to stay in education, but do something outside the classroom. And this role gave me the ability to be an advocate for students who need one-on-one support during the day, because as you and I both know, as a teacher, you don't have capacity to provide one-on-one, even though the students in your classroom have a wide range of needs. But also as a teacher, you can't recruit and train tutors and use them well. So we get to be an advocate for teachers who need support in the classrooms as well. How long have you been tutoring with Heart?
So this will be my 3rd year tutoring with Heart. And this is I've actually been at a different school each year. So this will be my 1st year at Shamrock Gardens.
Excellent. So tell me how you fit Heart into your weekly schedule, because that's something that we have. We want this to be accessible to people like your sister who don't have education background, people who work full time. So tell us how you make that work.
Yeah. So I'm in the afternoon. So I come like after lunch when I have a little lunch break. So I'll come then. My husband actually came last year. He actually was lunchtime too. So he would come during lunchtime and then go back to work. It was just a quick hour. But what's also nice is you can do just 30 minutes. So if you have 30 minutes, or maybe you're on the way to work, you can stop by the school of our, 23 schools now?
23 schools.
23 schools. You can stop at one of those 30 minutes or an hour and really feel like you're making an impact in that 30 minutes or an hour. You're not just kind of wandering or walking around. You're like really doing the curriculum. So it's a really important 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So you can see those 2 students that you see every week for the whole school year. So I think you can squeeze it in.
Yeah. And you, I think, travel some for work, or you have clients that you have to see. How do you work that out if it's not going to work for you that week?
So normally, I'm scheduled for Thursdays, but then like things are going to happen, or maybe there's no school or something. And so I was talking to my program coordinator today, and she said everyone's pretty flexible in, like, if I email her in enough time, I can move to a different day. Or if that day doesn't work, then potentially some weeks there'll be Fridays open, depending on the schedule. So we might be able to do that. If I was earlier in the week, it might be a little better because then I could just get to later in the week. So I'll definitely have to be planning ahead for Thursdays to kind of move to another day.
Yeah, but the idea is that we want students to be able to see you even if it's on a different day, but coming at the same time. Makes it so that they still get that consistent interaction throughout the week. But as I said, I think about 3/4 or 70% of our tutors have full-time jobs. So we want this to be something that busy people can do and still be impactful with just 30 minutes or an hour. So why has this program been rewarding? What do you feel like is the most rewarding part?
I love the student growth and like the one-on-one. So you get to really see how much they're learning, like see all the notebooks that they pass. And at the end of the year, when they do like their post assessments, and tutors get sent their scores, so you can kind of like see how many areas they grew in. So that's really fun to see, like your time's worth it. You're not just going to hang out with the kid. But on that note, you get to build a relationship with the kid. So like your consistency in coming every week and being with the student potentially could be some of the most consistency that they have in their life. Maybe not. Maybe they have a lot going on, but to know that you're going to come every Thursday or every week at a certain time, just build that relationship, learn about them. They're excited to tell you about their math grade they got in their classroom or the new dog they got at home. So you really get to like be that mentor and have that friendship as well as teaching them math. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah. And one of the things we tell our tutors is that your role is 50% math tutor and 50% mentor. But a lot of the mentorship pieces, like you said, just showing up every week, asking questions, taking an interest in things that they are interested in. Again, as you know, as a teacher, one-on-one time is very limited.
Yeah.
And so it's really impactful for students, just having one-on-one conversation with an adult throughout the week who cares about them and comes just for them. Why is tutoring with Heart an easy experience if you haven't had an education background, or if you have?
Yeah. Again, I was trying to get my husband to do it. Took me a year. He didn't do the first year. He did it the second year. But I swear by, if you can read and you can count to 30,
Yeah,
you can be successful.
Yeah.
30, because that's what our notebook says. But it really is like, especially the first few notebooks, it really is like reading and just, so the curriculum's made out for you. You're not having to make anything up. You're not having to bring anything. You're literally just following what it says. And then like the other stuff, like place value, when you start to learn it, it's actually really cool because you start to learn from it too, but it's all there for you. So you're not going home and like Googling, how do I teach this? How do I do this better? You have the curriculum and you have the program coordinator there every time that you need to ask questions or clarify or figure it out. So I think having all the curriculum there is really easy. And then having the program coordinator there every time you're there. So if like something's wrong with a student or the student's not in their classroom or something goes on, that you can communicate and have somebody there to be liaison for you, so you're not having to scramble. So I think that's a huge plus.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the curriculum too, I would ask, how do you feel like someone who doesn't, maybe says math isn't their biggest strength? How would you answer that?
I would say you would learn a lot in a good way. And it really, like, again, my husband did it, but I was like teaching him how to do some of like make it tens and leftovers. And truthfully, like now, like when I think to add numbers, I'm adding in like tens and hundreds. Not to be nerdy, but I really am.
Yeah.
Based on the curriculum. So my answer to them would be like, trust it. You know, what was it? 98% of our 3,000 students have like shown growth, so that means that it works. Right. And it's not that hard to implement, because there's people who are like, don't do anything with math, who work a lot, who are out of college, in college, you know, so there's lots of different people who are doing it. It works. So it can't be that hard. And you'll learn from it. So it's kind of cool that you get to take away something from that also.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like I have a better number sense too. Since having worked in the curriculum. And I think I would say too, a lot of it, you said it's easy, but it's pretty scripted, and a lot of it's game based too. So when people think math, they don't necessarily think about hard games and dice games, but most of it's really engaging and pretty fun as well. So anything else you can think of that that you would add about your experience, maybe that people wouldn't expect if you're working in a school, or anything else that would maybe alleviate a concern of someone considering the program?
I might say that it gets easier as you go. So at the beginning, you might be like, I'm not really sure. Where do I get my students?
The logistical piece.
Yeah, definitely. And then as you go, you know where the materials are. You know where your students are. It becomes pretty fast, so that it's just like kind of routine. So I'd say it's easier as you go. You know the curriculum's gonna kind of look for. And then I'd say like my biggest recommendation is for tutors to get there like, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes early. Because then you can look at where your partner tutor ended, where you need to start. You can read over the next few pages. You can get the material, so you can really feel prepared for those 30 minutes. I mean, and there's definitely gonna be times when you come in and you just gotta roll with it, and that's fine. But I like getting there early to just kind of read over and get comfortable. Anything else? I think one of my favorite things are the parties that we have, the events. We have one in the winter and then in the spring. And you really get to celebrate the students' progress. They get little awards, certificate, and like take-home games. A lot of times we've got a summer slide, teacher term. Right. But in the summer, like students aren't learning as much, and everything they have learned kind of like goes downhill or stays instead of going up. And so we give them cards and piece of paper and different games to like play to kind of keep their math skills up. So I think those are really big hits. You get to meet some family members, eat with them. It's like not a math tutoring session, but you still get.
Yeah, that's a really neat, unique experience, because we invite the tutors, we invite the families of the students, we invite the students, and we're able to celebrate student progress. And for kids that have been behind, I think hopefully school is still a place that they enjoy being, but being celebrated for your success, and ideally being an environment where you feel really supported by a team who's seen you make good progress, I think can be really impactful. And it's just neat to connect people who might not have met otherwise. Yeah. Anything else that you'd like to share?
No, I I'm just really looking forward to it. I had orientation today, so I can't wait to meet my kids
Oh,
next
yeah.
week and get started. So
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know the coordinators were pleased to finally get to see all the people they've been interacting or emailing with, and getting to pair everyone next week will be when the magic happens.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much again. If you have more questions, there are lots of ways you can reach us, and we really hope to see you in the school soon.